By the way, I wouldn't be a reporter if I didn't ask. Ja's summer. What's the summer look like?
This guy's freaking good. He's really good at his job.
I saw he's cleared for 5-on-5.
I'm telling you guys right now, Ja Morant is coming for all the work this year. All of it. The OGs are back. We are at Summer League in Vegas. Breaking news.
The plug.
the breaking. You know what? I'm sick of you being the breaking news. We're f***ing breaking news today. Shams is here.
The plug.
Shams is here. Talk to me, man. Appreciate you coming in.
I appreciate you guys having me on.
Yeah.
Obviously, Mike, I've known you for a minute now.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, we got to give some shout-outs. Dan Frank
That's
is
right.
someone that first told me, you know, that's my guy. You know, look out for Mike as a player near the end of your career. Now, Donnie, you know, you got a good crew on
we
here.
got
UD. I don't know you as well, but I've been a fan from afar, and now you're taking on this new media mission that you're on.
Yeah.
Educating, providing support, guidance to players behind the scenes as well. So a lot of respect for both of you.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate
brother.
you being
Thank
out here,
for coming
man.
on. Thank
Appreciate you guys
I know
having me
you're
on.
busy. Always.
If this was last week, I would have had to politely decline.
Damn.
I love you guys,
Respect, though, brother. Honestly.
but we would have rain checked it.
Yeah. Well, I want to know the Shams before Shams. So tell me how you got to this point. Like, what did you know this is what you want to do? Because it'd be a lie if you said you did, because the reality of the situation, life changed, and social media and the way you put out messages has changed. I know you started in a different way, but like, talk to me about how that was. We'll talk about where you're at now, but I want to hear about how you got here.
Yeah, growing up, I wanted to be where you were, where you guys were. I wanted to be in the NBA, but obviously that's not the reality for most of the world. I mean, it's a 1% population make it to the NBA, right? But that was my goal. I got cut very early in high school, sophomore year, and from there.
Oh, you and MJ got a lot in common.
I know, but I wasn't MJ. I knew my role. The moment I got cut, I wasn't going to be MJ and make it to the NBA or make it to varsity or whatever. I was done.
Yeah.
But I loved the NBA and I loved writing as well. So it was like really combining both passions together and figuring out exactly what my niche was going to be. And I think when you think about trying to be around the NBA, it was very specific for me. I love the NBA. I want to be around the NBA in any way, whether it was writing, being an agent, being in the front office. But something about writing always got me, and it was like the transactions of the game, the behind the scenes, you know, like how did UD make it the way he made it?
That's right.
Like, I love the stories behind the game, and that's what attracted me to writing. And I started writing, and one thing led to the other. And so, long story short, you know, went from school newspaper to blogs. I spent 3 years at Yahoo. Then I went to the Athletic and Vertical. I was at the Vertical, then I went to the Athletic, then Stadium, and now I'm at the Athletic Stadium, FanDuel TV, and you know, just with your other Gator boy, Chandler Parsons.
That's right.
And so shout out Chandler Parsons. But it's definitely been a process. Definitely nothing that happened overnight. But I've been really doing this since I was sophomore in high school. So I was 15, 16 years old.
I mean, you had to love it to do it for free. At first, you was writing for the Bulls for free, right?
Yeah. Well, I was writing for a school newspaper, then
newspaper.
RealGM.com.
Okay, Real GM.
Actually, a subsidiary of the Chicago Tribune called Chicago Now. I was literally doing a Bulls blog for them, obviously for free. Then RealGM.com for free, pay my own way. The first finals I actually covered, 2013. Heat, Spurs. Shout out, my aunt actually lives in Miami, so I only went to the 4 games in Miami. Obviously, went 7. I went to those. Yeah, 2013. Yeah, that was.
Yeah,
you guys won. That was the Ray Allen shot. That was the Ray Allen shot.
Yeah,
So
talk about it.
And that was.
We can talk about it.
I talk about my most favorite finals ever. For me, it was that game when Ray made that shot, because that was my first finals. That was my first like in-person moment. So that was my most favorite moment.
Ours too is one of them.
But I was paying my own way, and then Summer League 2013 was big for me too, because that was the first time I was able to be around people, engage with team people, agents, players, and I was deer in the headlights. Didn't know anyone. Knew a few people by email or text, but you know, it's a totally different beast when you meet.
So when you first start, like, how are you weighing through the, right? Because in your business, you can't be wrong.
Yeah.
Right. So are you ever concerned, A, about being wrong? And then how many boxes do you have to check before you actually put your stuff out there? I think that's, to me, it's interesting because when you guys put something, you can't be wrong. Otherwise, it's not Shams, right? So talk to me about that. Oh, we got breaking news. You just got traded.
It's nothing. I wish it was. I wish it was breaking news.
No, I don't. No, I don't. I do not.
You want to show to yourself,
no, I don't. I couldn't do it by myself.
Kane killed Abel. You know that, don't you?
No. I asked Sylvester. It's not true. He has not been traded. He has not been traded.
Let me tell you something.
Still on the OG's podcast.
I got great self-awareness. I can't do it without him.
Unconfirmed. See, so for sure, I mean, that's for sure, you know, being accurate, being 100%, nothing can come out until you feel that way. And there definitely are boxes. I mean, if I'm 99% on something, it's not going to go out. I mean, I've lost a ton of stories being like 98% or 99%. But that is most important for sure. Obviously, being first is what you strive for, but being accurate is the most important. And of course, there's going to be moments where I think now more than ever, it's like weeding through the BS of it. Yeah. I think early on, it was a matter of like figuring out who to trust,
I can about imagine
who not to trust.
In any business that you get into, whether it's this, your business, my business, like the excitement of getting something done when you're young gets you in trouble sometimes. So like, give me an example of when you posted something or put something out there that was wrong, or your biggest wrong story. Because those are hard. Yeah. I've been wrong a lot.
I mean, I think the big like big ones are things that could change at any given moment, or you know, little contract details where you might not have put in, you know, one more call to actually figure out what this detail is in this contract. You know, I remember one time, I can't even remember the player, but someone signed like I reported he signed a 4-year deal, but they couldn't sign him to a 4-year deal. It was only a 3-year deal. But like something small like that. But
that's not bad.
But it's for sure, it's something that would it eats at you, you know, in any given moment. And I think that's the biggest thing when you're young in any industry. And I started at this the sophomore year of high school. Not at this, I guess, quote unquote level, but to some level. And the biggest thing is not being short-sighted, not taking shortcuts. And these are relationships. I mean, a lot of my relationships are relationships I've had for years and years and years now, right? And those are the people that you trust. Those are the people you rely on. And it's one of those things you cultivate over time. It's not anything that happens overnight. Sometimes like stopping and reminding yourself that this is not something that just happens overnight. And I think that's something that every young person, definitely I've battled with at different points.
Sure. I mean, I hear you keep going back to, you know, when you were 15 years old, but, you know, I was reading up a couple things, and, you know, your parents wanted another path for you.
Way
they
different
wanted you to be a doctor or a lawyer. Now, this was written for me. My daddy used to roll the ball out and drop me off at the park. I'd be back when the sun come down. You know what to do. But your parents actually had a different path for you. So how was that? Like, this is what. Why is that funny?
Because you said, I'll be back for you.
I'll be back when the sun come down. You better get buckets, motherfucker. You know how to go. You know what I'm saying? It was written. You know what I'm saying? But your parents had a different thing in mind for you.
You know what? My dad actually did roll the ball out. You know, he let me play basketball. It's not like he prevented me from playing ball, but I mean, for sure, definitely. You know, I think it was a cultural thing. You know, having. It wasn't anything negative. My mom wanted something stable for me, right? Like this path, even that I chose, like it wasn't. There was no guarantees. Sure. I had no relationship to make it a guarantee, but it was something that I was really passionate about. So I can't say, you know, there's definitely some like, are you sure you want to do this? Even when I was having a little bit of success, it's like it's not too late to change your major. You know, like you could still go into bio, you can still do something in that lane. And I think now it's like when I meet doctors and when I meet especially brown doctors, and they're like, yo, like, you know, I'm a big fan of you. I'm like, you know what's crazy is my mom is probably your biggest fan. Like, not even but she supports me, and I think the support is the biggest thing. She let me, you know, to me, like I think about, she let me drive her car when I was going to Milwaukee or Indiana to go cover games. Like, she did that for me. She gave me enough resources to where I can go and cover games and go get flights to Miami to stay with my aunt and go cover the finals when I was 19 years old, or go to Vegas for Summer League. So, to me, for sure, she wanted a different path, and I think in an ideal world, you know, I went and got my PhD. But at the end of the day, I think now my mom's at least off my back.
Hell yeah.
Shout out to that.
Now you said one word, and this is what I was thinking about this earlier. You said the word relationships. Yeah. What you have and what you do has to be driven off of relationships in a sense, right? How do you create those? I don't want to know who the plugs are. You keep that to yourself. But how do you create those relationships to where people trust you with information? Because ain't nobody just coming up telling you, throwing. It has to be built. You have to build these relationships for people to talk to you and give you this information and trust you sometimes, right?
That's a big word right there, trust. Yeah. Trust, faith. I think equity is a big thing.
Okay.
And I think those values and And for me, it's like talking to people when you might not need them, right? And like,
Yes.
the last thing I want to do is reach out to someone. Like a year goes by and I haven't spoken to this person. Like I feel awful. You know, that's the worst feeling in the world. So reaching out to people when you don't just need them and checking up on them, but trust is the biggest thing. And I learned that early on. The moment you burn a relationship, or if a person tells you, you know, sometimes you have to sit on stuff. Sometimes there are moments where contextually their perspective is very important. And when you don't get that other perspective, when you don't get their side of a situation, it could definitely ruffle feathers. And no one's perfect. I'm not perfect, but making sure as much as I possibly can, checking that box in any relationship, I think trust is the biggest thing, and having their faith, and that then allows them to be more open with you, and I think giving you information when it matters.
Well, I've seen you look at your
It's
phone.
a two-way street too.
I've
It's a
seen
two-way street too, though. You know,
Yeah,
like
that's right.
be in a position where you can, if you can't help someone out, or if you have a tidbit of information, as well.
I felt like he was looking at me when he said it's a two-way street.
Hey, listen, he the one
I'm just saying.
He the one guest we don't mind if he look at his phone.
Hey, he said, I'm just saying. You know what that means in the streets, what you need. I seen you look at that phone a bunch. Talk to me about this, the famous screen time.
That's crazy.
It's
only 24 hours in a day.
I want to know how this is possible. How is your screen time?
What'd you see? You saw
I've seen amazing numbers, but how do you sleep?
You say amazing.
It said 21 hours and 34 minutes.
That's what I'm saying.
And guess what
Some
he told
people
me?
say that's
he
sickening.
He said it should have been more.
sickening hours.
He said it should have been more.
Should have been more.
Okay,
hold on. I got to hear why.
First day of free agency. It's the first day of free agency. Deals can happen. You know, Paul George's deal happened at 2 in the morning. So that just lets you know deals can happen at any moment. I remember I woke.
So did you sleep or did you have your phone? Well, how'd that play out?
I slept a couple hours. I
don't mean to get in your personal business, but
I slept a couple hours.
Are you married? Because you got worse hours than a cop.
No, I'm not.
All cops I know is divorced. You got worse hours than a cop. Like, who is living?
I would be divorced, but thankfully I'm only with my family. So my family, see, it's
all the cops I know are divorced because of their hours. Like,
there's no dinner that goes by. If I'm at a family dinner and I don't leave the table, I think they feel like something's wrong with me. You know, so like it's just.
So what's understood ain't got to be explained.
It is what it is. But you're right. It's with the significant other that it could be a problem. But I don't know. I don't know anything about that right now. You know. So.
Well. Keep the fight, brother. keep the fight.
I would have been divorced 3 times over. You know.
Man.
You know?
So hold on. So what's the most your screen hours have been?
I mean that. I think the one that people have caught me on, probably that was the highest.
21.
But to be honest, people are. You know what's crazy is I want to see your screen time, Mike.
Mine's not 21 hours.
I
sleep.
I know some people in the industry that definitely have as much screen time as me because they're on the phone as much as me. So
I'm on the phone a ton. There's no question. But I also sleep 6 hours.
He's on the phone.
He's getting deals done.
You might be close.
No, but I sleep 6 hours at least.
Lyft has something in his contract. He has to be on the phone at least 16 hours a day.
Listen, when you drink as much beer as him, your 6 hours is all throughout the day. You get you get a 3-hour nap around 2. You get another nap around 10.
You see why I don't like him?
No, he's really grilling you right now.
It's unbelievable.
It's bad.
That's my dog.
But it's part of if I couldn't do it, or if I felt like it was too much, or I felt like it was hindering anything else in my life, I couldn't do it, right? But you know, this is.
Well, you look like you're in shape, though.
No doubt.
You need to do.
You in shape. You're working out because you ain't just
the 1 hour you're not on your phone.
information and eating. Yeah, you look like you're in shape.
The 1 hour that you're spending off the phone, you know, you gotta spend it somehow, right?
I like it.
You gotta spend it somehow. You gotta spend it somehow.
So, give me the story that you broke, the biggest story you broke earlier. We're like, damn, I love. Like there's something that hooked you into this. Right, I know you loved it and you did it, but there's always some moment in anyone's career or life that they do. They're like, damn, I love this. So the big story that you first broke.
So I'll give you 2 different examples. One, I think the biggest story, like initially, that I think people will be like, all right, this guy might be legit, or there might be something more here. Luol Deng got traded from the Bulls to the Cavs, January 2014, and that, I think I had like 700 followers that night. Went up to like 7,000 by the end of the night, and like. To me, it's like that was the night where I think, or that was the moment where I think the door kind of cracked just a little bit.
So with 700 followers, you broke that story.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
The door kind of cracked a little bit open, right? And it to me, it was, and I've said this before, but it's like, what do you make of that moment, right? Do you sit in complacency? Do you sit in that, or like I'm trying to bust that door wide open and see what the possibilities are. It's endless possibilities. Next morning, I was driving to Milwaukee to go cover a Warriors-Bucks game. This is Mark Jackson's last year with the Warriors.
Yeah.
And I'm doing a one-on-one with Klay Thompson. Like, I was really on to the next.
Yeah.
Like, and I think that mentality helped me a lot, like that on to the next mentality. So that was probably the one that I think gave me a great understanding of if you're going to be in this, like, it's on to the next at all times. And then 2020, just everything that happened in 2020 with COVID and not knowing what's going on. And, like, you talk about vetting processes, like the night Rudy Gobert tested positive for COVID.
Oh,
like
my God.
At The Athletic, we had like an hour and a half of like vetting.
That was brutal.
You know, like that was a highly vetted story. And I think that night and just everything that happened that year, I didn't go to journalism school for that, but you have to be ready, you have to seize the moment.
That's when a lot of realize they ain't like their spouses. Motherfuckers had to find out the truth. A lot of people found out the truth.
Speaking of divorce.
Welcome
to
the OG Shams.
But listen, it's okay because, like, I understand we were joking about your hours, but I'm a little obsessed too. Like, you got to be a little obsessed.
Thank you, UD.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Appreciate
If you want to be great at what the
Thank
you do, you got to be a little obsessed. So I support your obsession.
Thank
You know what I'm saying? So we joking about it, but you got to be obsessed.
It's the only way you can be great at what you do.
Hell yeah, and it's a competitive field that you're in. You know? So I understand that. Just like basketball, just like
UD, you went from undrafted to trying to make a roster
to 20 years
to
all-time leading rebounder.
Like,
we can keep going.
Backup,
three-time champion,
sixth man.
Yes.
Coming off the bench in this 8th man role, 10th man, then you're a mentor. So, like, you're competitive, right? Like, if you just wanted to be a guy that played a couple years, and then, Mike was the guy that,
he's a sick though.
Rookie of the year. He had it. He had it. He was the man. He was the man.
Sick.
That's a sick.
Obsessed too. He went out there with one shoe and no back.
That's what I'm saying.
It made sick. How many threes you made? With one shoe and no back?
He took that shoe and threw it.
Yeah,
I made a couple of them.
Come on, man. You got to be obsessed.
He made it 3 with the shoe in his hand.
That's crazy. Listen.
Insane.
Let me tell you, we had to carry him to the locker room after the game. Okay. I laid him down in his locker, and I said, thank you for your contribution.
And then they put me in a casket. As y'all can hear, we're at the Summer League right now. So, Shams, tell me, like, biggest winners and losers this offseason, in your opinion?
I think you have to say the Sixers are a big winner. Getting Paul George. I mean, they couldn't afford to strike out in this free agency. So I think they're a big winner. And, like, the Mavericks. I mean, I do think when you think about that position that Klay Thompson's going to play, I mean, he's really just filling Tim Hardaway's role. And Tim Hardaway kind of became the odd man out in that environment. And Klay, I think, is going to fit perfectly there as the 3-man and someone that they're going to rely on. Championship pedigree. So I think they had a big offseason as well. And honestly, the Spurs, like, getting CP3, getting HB.
Yeah, I like that.
In that rotation, like, it's crazy. And you guys have been a part of it. But, like, every year that goes on, the more I realize when 1 or 2 guys get plugged into a lineup, or if they get hurt during the season, how much that affects a team.
Yes.
I think even more on the San Antonio one is not even affecting the season as much. It's really affecting the growth and where Victor and them guys go. Because what you don't want is Victor getting used to get his ass kicked.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And being 20-win seasons every year. He needs to see the maturity levels and what it actually is like winning and stuff. Because he's going to be, obviously everyone at this table realizes he's going to be special. Yeah. What you don't want him to do is fall into that trap. Because it doesn't mean, just because you're special doesn't mean you're going to win. So I like that San Antonio one for sure.
OKC, getting Hardenstein, getting Caruso, those are
Caruso
2 good gets.
I really like.
Doesn't even impact, like, their future. They have all their draft. They got a dozen first-round picks to trade. They got a dozen swaps. They got everything to get any. If there's ever a star player that they want. If they want to go get Lowry marketing right now, they can go get Lowry marketing. But they like this direction of this team. And that's another guy who will, we'll see what happens.
Got one more for you, Sean.
See what happens there.
Biggest loser, though.
One more, though.
Okay.
Philadelphia also got Caleb Martin.
Caleb Martin was a big get. That was a big get.
It's hurting me still. I'm still in my feelings about that.
Hold on a second, though.
They also got Caleb Martin for the low.
Because I heard
talking about a guy who could easily have been.
But I heard Caleb had 65 on the table and took 32.
I wasn't there. I don't know nothing about that. I don't be in those rooms.
Okay.
I don't be in those rooms. But, I mean, it hurt that we lost him. And if that's what happened, then it sucks that we lost him. And he took less money to go back to Philly with taxes and all that when he could have got 65.
Yeah, that was wild. I heard that.
You talk about a guy who
Oh, I love Caleb
with
Martin.
Kelly, with Oubre, now you got multiple guys that you can put on Tatum and Brown in a 7-game series, in a playoff series. And it's also a guy who you can't account for 1 game or 2 games where he might give you 17 to 20 points, like on just random, plays and different things like that, like he did for us. So I love the Paul George pickup because Paul George shoot the clip about 52% on catch and shoot threes. That's what Philadelphia struggled with. But I also love Caleb Martin. That's personal for me.
Let me ask you this, because out of curiosity. So we know why Paul George ended up leaving the Clippers, because they wouldn't give him that last year, right?
Right.
Ultimately, why was it that Clay left Golden State?
I think there's more layers to that one. I think that one has a lot to do with principle. I think that one has a lot to do with how he felt with the organization over the last couple of years. When you're someone that brought 4 championships there, big part of that, 3 for sure, like they don't win those 3. I mean, they don't win any of those without Clay, but those 3 and then getting the 4th, and then you see Wiggins get 4 years extension, Jordan Poole getting a 4-year extension, you see Draymond Green getting a 4-year extension, and then it's your turn, and the Warriors look at the marketplace and they offer him 2 years, 48, and that's what I was told the offer was last year from the Warriors, and he felt like he deserved more years, more money, and I think you saw how his season developed, and I think there were a lot of feelings on both sides, but specifically for Clay, feeling slighted with the offer, feeling slighted with his role at different points, feeling like he wasn't given the stature that came with being Klay Thompson in that organization. And I think coming off the bench, for a rookie and Brandon Podziemski and having your minutes fluctuating, I think that all played a part. And by the end of the season, I was told he was out, and I reported a few days before free agency. He's not coming back. The decision was already made. It was just going to be about where he was going to end up. And now he goes to Dallas, and he will be the guaranteed starter there, and he's going to be guaranteed, whatever it is, 28, 30 plus minutes a night. And I think that was very important for Clay, playing the minutes that he wants to play. And I'm told a lot of this was about principle and feeling slighted in Golden State.
I love Dallas. I love what they did this year. Obviously, they shocked a lot of people. But having those two of the most dynamic guards in the NBA is helpful. It's going to be interesting, though. That Clay piece is going to be interesting there, and I do think obviously it's a huge upgrade for him. But he's used to playing a certain style with Golden State. It's pitch chase. It's all the way around. And now you're going to a place where it's ball dominant guards. So it's going to be. I'm telling you, that's not going to be the easiest.
It's a totally different environment.
That's what I'm saying. It's not going to
too.
be the easiest transition that people like. This when we put that big 3 together, we started off our freaking career there with some.
It'll be some dark nights when you're trying to figure it out.
So it's what I mean. Like you take Clay in that situation. And I'm glad he got what he wanted in the 3 years and the money, but it's going to be extremely different. And I don't care starting, coming off the bench. I don't care what it is. To me, it's style of play and what you're accustomed to, right? So it's gonna be interesting. I'm very, very intrigued to see how that plays out.
We're gonna see. I like the fact that they got Jason Kidd coaching.
I do too.
See, that's what I think
I do
too.
too.
That is a big
That's what I think is going to help.
I do too.
We talk
But
about
the reality of the situation is,
we talking about a former player.
The reality of the situation is, you are super successful doing it one way right now. Clay is not just a stay in the corner. Now he's elite at it. Don't get it wrong.
What do you guys think about what the Warriors did, though? Getting Buddy, getting Kyle Anderson.
I love Buddy.
Anthony
I
Melton.
love Buddy, but see, Buddy from damn near Miami. The Bahamas is just an extension of Miami. So I love Buddy. You just get him some kunk salad.
I don't think Golden State can be done. I think if you're serious about winning, they have to make a big move.
And they're trying to get Lowry Marketing.
They're going
that West is hellified.
I think they're going to.
The problem is the West is hellified. It is only getting better.
Mike, is that a?
Look at this man. He can't stop working. He can't stop working. No, I'm with you though. But to me, if you're going to be like, and this is not anything anyone else hasn't said. Like Steph Curry's got so many years left, right, at this level. If you're going to try to do it one more time, you got to go all in. Like you just have to. So it's going to be interesting. I don't think they're done. I don't think they're done.
Shams, I got a question.
Yeah.
Orlando, KCP.
Orlando
with Coach Mosey.
KCP. You like
that was a team. Orlando was a team that I like.
Mike represents Paolo Banchero.
I know what the hell he's going to say.
Carter.
I know what the hell he's going to say. Yeah. But I like that pickup as well, just because that's a young team. They can defend their asses off. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's a good pickup for them, too, bringing in a guy that's won a championship, hold everybody accountable, championship expectations, all that different shit like that. How you think that helped them?
They did I think very similar. You think about OKC and Orlando, they're on similar trajectories, but you think about what both of them did. They did nothing to disrupt what they have, right? Like, they didn't trade away one of their cornerstone players. They didn't trade away a boatload of assets.
They basically brought everyone back.
They brought everyone back, and they brought in a really good veteran, two-way player, makes threes. He's at, I mean, Lakers impact championship, Denver impact championship, and now going to Orlando, which kind of like OKC, you get two players that don't disrupt what you've got going on. There's no guarantee Isaiah Hartenstein signs for $30 million a year. There's no guarantee he starts next to Chet Holmgren. You want Chet Holmgren to really embrace that 5 spot, but you pay him a little bit more and make him comfortable with coming off the bench potentially and being a really good backup for you and playing with Chet Holmgren down the stretch. Yeah. And Orlando, KCP just slides right in as a starting shooting guard, and I think they have the pieces.
No, Orlando does, and I've dealt with them. I've dealt with them a ton, and I love dealing with them, but. Like, we still got to address, in my opinion, Orlando, we got to be able to make shots, right? Like, you just have to make shots. You can't be second last or last in the league in three-point shooting. But I'm saying, no, I get it. KCP to me was awesome. We were super excited when it happened. But the biggest thing now is, okay, when, and this is always a question as a front office guy, when is it time to make the next step? When is it time to throw the deck all in? Right, because you know, I mean, you got Franz re-signed now. You're gonna have to do Paolo next summer. Like it's there for you now. So it's gonna be interesting to see what they do. But they got to at some point, and I don't know. There's never a good answer for it. But when are you going all in for it? That's gonna be because you have to make shots.
You say one more week, you're gonna have to get your French passport.
Okay. Yo, Mike, I gotta ask. You know, you have Paolo there. Yeah. He's the face of that franchise.
Yes.
What does he feel about their offseason? What do you feel about KCP? How involved is he?
Super excited about it. You know, listen, he's still learning. His biggest thing is he wants to get better. So he was like, does he want the team to get better? Absolutely. But he's focused on getting better because he knows if he's better, the team's better. So, but obviously KCP, I was in Seattle when it happened. Super excited about it. But again, he's sick. Like the great ones are sick. He wants to win. I mean, the trajectory where he's been, they came in, obviously they're the #1 pick, so they didn't have a great season, right? They upgraded. Now they make the playoffs. They go 7 against Cleveland. But the reality of the situation, that Cleveland-Orlando series, if you're really being serious about, was a rock fight. So if you're going to try to take on the Bostons, the Phillies, the Miamis, you're going to have to get better. You're going to get better wing scoring at times, but you're going to be able to shoot better. And we know that, but it takes time. But they're built to be able to make advantage, almost like OKC, what you said. They have a lot of They
have their picks. They got tradable contracts.
Oh yes. So they're there. It's just that's when the thing is. Like I said, there's no perfect time. When you going all? When you going to make that move? And that's what's going to be interesting for sure. Where are you at? What do you think of Orlando? He likes the defense. He likes the defense. We're going to guard everybody.
I was the one who brought Orlando up.
Yeah, you did.
I threw that name out there.
You like Orlando?
Yeah, I love Orlando
KCP pickup was
I know how tough they are to score against. First and foremost, they can guard. They don't have a matchup that you want to go at. I know in the NBA, you're going to run 55 pick and rolls till you find that one guy you want to attack every time. There's not a matchup in that starting lineup that you want to attack. Not one. Trust me, I know. I've played against those. You know what I'm saying? All of them got length. All of them can move their feet. You know what I'm saying? All of them compete.
Next time you make a post, say, trust me, I know those.
You know what I'm saying?
Trust me, I know.
So and Coach
I like
Mosley.
that. Put on a T-shirt.
Trust me, I know them.
Yeah, Coach Mosley got his locker room, you know what I'm saying? They didn't shoot it well. Let's
ask this question. I'm curious on both of your guys' answer. Who is the winner and loser of the draft? What rookie makes an impact on a playoff team this year?
How about Reed Shepherd?
Boy, he's good.
Ooh.
Damn, he's good.
How about Reed Shepherd?
He put that boy in the blender the other day, didn't he?
Man, he out here cooking. He was frying today.
He comes from a great pedigree too.
Yes,
his
he
parents.
does. Awesome mama dad.
Listen, I like young fella Memphis took.
So that's why
I think
you threw me a softball.
Zach
I think Zach Edey's going to be the guy. I mean, they lost.
Instant impact. I think
here's what makes things interesting, right? You have a team that was decimated with injuries last year. You get the 9th pick in the draft. You answer a question that was desperately needed. You need to meet Jaren Jackson to his natural position, which makes him a killer. Right, so now your starting lineup looks really, really good. They stay healthy. That's a team that I think had a great splash.
I think that's a great draft pick. That was my.
How about Memphis this year, Mike?
They're going to be awesome.
And that's why when people
they're going to be awesome.
That's why when people ask if the Lakers will make the playoffs, I'm like, how? Memphis going to be healthy again this year. Like, I just don't see the math ain't math.
Memphis is a Western Conference Finals team.
Make the playoffs last year if John.
No, they're a Western Conference Finals team.
Listen, you got OKC, you got Dallas, you got Memphis who's going to be healthy this year. You got, help me out here. You got.
How about Sacramento getting DeMar DeRozan? How are they going to be? You like
Minnesota,
that? You like that, UD? You like the DeMar DeRozan?
I love DeMar. Quietly doesn't get the credit he deserves for being a bucket.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look on the list of scores, he's like top 15 or something in the list of scores. So he doesn't get the credit that he deserves, but he's a bucket. I love DeMar.
Shams, I'm glad you brought up DeMar DeRozan. How come he didn't get a bigger deal and it wasn't more active at the beginning of the trade of free agency?
Well, I think when the incumbent team isn't there for you as a suitor, and the Bulls are moving on.
Yeah,
the Bulls are going.
They're throwing a grenade on it.
They're going in another direction. They're retooling, however you want to phrase it. Zach LaVine, if they can find a trade for him.
You didn't like the grenade word.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. But they're doing something. They're doing something that I can't really.
They traded Caruso for a bag of chips and a soda.
Yeah, they got a bag of chips and a soda. So why? So you
open bag.
So
I'm asking you. Is this?
It was one of them bags that is closed, but it's halfway full.
I'm just trying to set up you. That's all.
I hate that.
I do think Josh Giddey is going to have a good season for the Bulls. I think he's.
Oh no, listen. This is no disrespect to Josh Giddey, but when I look at those trades, I feel like what Caruso is going to do for OKC is going to be a lot more influential. What Josh Giddey still has a lot to figure out. You know what I'm saying? This is not a knock on Josh Giddey as a basketball player.
I have heard, though, that Lonzo Ball is looking good, though, in his workouts. I will say I have heard that.
He's freaking good, too.
If he's healthy. But going back to DeMar, I think the biggest thing, and as an agent, like if the incumbent team.
So your whole leverage.
That's the leverage point. But this is the second straight time, DeMar DeRozan has gone into free agency, and he's had to go seek a sign and trade. So you do, to an extent, in a broken market. You think about all the cap space teams; they were really all, not winning. Or Detroit had cap space. San Antonio obviously used their cap space on Harrison Barnes and Chris Paul. Orlando had cap space; they used it on KCP. Philly used it on Paul George. Utah, they're holding their cap space. Lauri Markkanen, whatever else is going on. So you look at the marketplace. Same thing happened to DeMar DeRozan last time in free agency. So I will say the last two deals. His last two deals have been a combined 5 years, $141 million in a market where
that's crazy.
In a market, but in a market where you're not going to a cap space team, so you're really manufacturing a market.
But think about that for a second. 5 years, 141 for DeMar DeRozan, and these dudes are out here signing 275 and 300s.
It's.
Speaking of 275 and 300, let's go to 156. Jalen Brunson.
Wow.
Yeah, great. I mean, obviously a great move for the New York Knicks. What do you think, Mike, as an agent representing
I had
players?
this conversation on the way here in a car with people that know the business very, very well, and I can't get my hands around it. I mean, obviously, listen, at the end of the day, $156 million, when people say it to me, it's like, come on, man. Like, we worked our entire lives in this business and been fortunate as hell and blessed as hell. Didn't touch 156. So there's part of that I understand. But if he just plays it out, it's, what, 300?
Close to it.
Yeah, so he gave up 113 million. Yes, 113 million was the thing that he gave up. I just don't. I don't understand. I don't understand it. As an agent, it's hard. Like, again, I'm all the power to him. Man. I don't know if I could ever say give up 113 million.
What do you think?
They offered him ownership on the back end.
You think that happened?
What else they gave him?
Well, I'm saying because how old is Jalen Brunson?
Jalen Brunson has to be late 20s. You would say.
So that means after his 5 years,
you're gonna be a Knick forever.
Well, I'm saying after his 5 years,
27.
So after his 5 years,
his dad is an assistant coach there.
But after 5 years, he's 32. Put it on Tibbs' years, he's 37.
You're gonna be a Knick for the rest of your career, and then when it's time, we're gonna make sure we take care of you forever.
His dad is on the coaching staff, right?
And awesome people. Listen, I'm telling you, it's amazing to me. Like
Leon Rose, his former agent.
Yep.
So there's a lot of family.
Well, 100%. No, I get it. It's just when it comes out, it's like, okay. I mean,
he's gonna be taken care
of.
And
that came out of nowhere, right? Am I wrong?
Well, it had been out that he was considering it heavily to take that because this new second apron, and now we're seeing it around the league. The lack of trades, big trades at different points. Like, there are deals some teams can't make, like the Clippers. They wanted to move Paul George for another play. Like, they legitimately, like, let's say they wanted to do PG for Jimmy Butler, for example. They couldn't do that under the current system that we're in the NBA collective bargaining agreement. So there are a lot of moves right now that are being hindered. I think with that, I've talked to league executives here at Summer League, and they're feeling the impact of that. But, you have to navigate it. So this alleviates a lot of that for the Knicks because they're going to have to pay guys moving forward. I mean, Mikal Bridges
I heard
is
he's
coming
taking a
up.
pay cut too when it's time for him to come up.
I mean,
he's
now
take a pay cut as well.
there's a standard here, right?
Yeah.
There's a
Yeah, I
standard
mean, your best player's doing it.
Yeah.
But it's like, wow, because then you got OG getting 205.
Man, the man getting something on the back end. He playing the long game. Y'all
Okay,
don't want to hear it.
I know.
Y'all don't wanna hear it.
I don't know nothing about it.
I guarantee he'll never
I'm an
wear another.
I'm an agent that keeps my cards out front.
I guarantee he'll never wear another uniform, and I guarantee that goddamn Madison Square Garden gonna be an open door for him for the rest of his life.
And it should be.
All right?
If you do that, it should be. Win, lose, or draw. The problem is
when you see him in retirement, he won't be sitting courtside like a retired player. He'll be sitting in the owner's box. That's how that's gonna go.
You understand this,
That's how that's
though.
gonna
You
go.
understand this, and I hope you understand this because everybody understands this. It's not promised that this is going to work out either. No. That team, listen, they're really good, and they talk about a lot of things. But that team right there ain't just okay. They're going to be top 4 in the East right now.
Let me tell you something. Whether they win a championship or not, the city of New York and the organization
no.
are not going to look at Jalen Brunson any differently.
Okay,
not him.
But here's the deal, though.
Not him.
Like what happens?
They might look at a couple other differently, but not him.
What happens if that team's really, really bad?
Nah, I doubt that.
What if?
He's
injuries?
though.
What if?
And if they are, I bet the city of New York still stand behind Brunson.
No, but the New York Knicks.
That's a good word.
He's the one
for that
team that got
the New York Knicks aren't just going to keep him bad,
though. Fine.
He could be the only.
He's going to be
He's
fine.
got the most tradable contract.
I bet he's
in order to get better. Okay.
And exactly. That's why I'm telling you, he got someone to back him up. He ain't dumb. His daddy ain't dumb. His agent ain't dumb. So for him to make that move, there was some conversation about you going to be all right.
What happens if a trade comes up and you're bad?
You ain't just hear what I said.
I heard it. You don't think these dudes lie?
Of course they lie, but they ain't do it to him.
Okay.
It's certain that you ain't gonna f over. Like I said, he got the city. He got the city behind him. He got Spike behind him. He got the guard behind him. His daddy on the coaching staff. Leon Rose is coaching him. They got Uncle Wes over there.
Does he get a statue?
He damn sure. If they win, he will.
100%. But I'm saying right now, and I'm saying this is the way he should have all these things. His dad's amazing. The kid was amazing. But the kid is always taking less, and he keeps taking less, which I commend. I really do. But it's going to be interesting because it's not guaranteed they're going to be like Boston's going to be, Philly's going to be. Like if you're not a top 4 team, like
don't think they know that. Do you think they know that it's not guaranteed that they're going to win?
Yeah. They do. They do.
You know how many,
this is great. I'm getting educated.
I love it though because he's committed to winning.
Let me ask you something.
I'm just saying you got to work it.
Let me ask you something as an agent. If this is your client.
I'd probably advise against it.
Oh, no. What deal or what could a team offer you that makes you not advise against it, but say, okay, we feel comfortable doing it? What could they possibly offer you?
There's not a scenario that I'd feel like I would, if I was advising my client, I would say don't, whatever, if you're saying this stuff's all on the back end, whatever they're saying to you, you're taking that with a grain of salt. It probably is not going to happen or could not happen. And if you're cool with that going into it and you want to take the 156 and have a chance to win, that's all blessings to me. I'm good with that. Like, I'm never going to say don't take it. I'm just going to give you the pros and the cons of not taking it, right? Like, the reality of the situation is he came there on basically wasn't supposed to be a max dude, killed it, and has been unbelievable. And now you have your opportunity to really cash in at 27 years old, 28 years old. That means you're in a situation where you only know there's one more left.
So let me ask you, so why can't it be like one of those situations where he has one of those Buster Posey deals where he just plays his career like Buster Posey played in San Francisco and went straight into part ownership like he did? Why can't it be one of those situations?
Could be.
Well,
could be.
So if you're his agent and the Knicks put that on the table,
but that doesn't mean it's going to
talk about it over dinner.
Because guess what?
Don't just tell him no.
Hold on. Because this is where me and him get these banters.
For
every,
I apologize.
This is amazing.
For every Buster Posey, there's a Custer Cozy, a Worcester Wozy.
No.
There's a bunch of people that have been promised stuff that never happened.
Custer Cozy and Worcester Wozy ain't getting promised a goddamn thing from nobody. God damn it.
Hey, let's
not go compare Custer Cozy and Buster Posey to Jalen Brunson.
I want this to be clear. I'm here for what he did. I'm just telling you that it's interesting that he did it. That's all I'm saying.
I'm just telling you, Killer, that you got to believe for how much money he left on the table and how believable it was for him to do that there had to be a conversation about what comes next.
It's unprecedented.
It's really unprecedented.
But when you a conversation about what comes next,
when you look at the connections, though, when you look at the connections, you understand.
No. Yes,
what
Leon.
Is it, La Familia? Is that what?
La Familia. And let me tell you something. That should happen. I really do believe it. Like, if that's the case, that should happen. Like, all that stuff.
Ain't no love familiar that much together. He don't love Leon.
Now he don't want to. Now he don't want to do it.
No, listen. He don't love Leon and them that much. There was a conversation about what comes next. I guarantee that. Ain't that much goddamn love in the world. There's a conversation about what comes next.
He's got the intel.
Yeah,
I ain't got the intel. I got common goddamn sense.
I tell you right now,
That's what I got.
I'm happy for what happened. I hope it works out. I really do. I hope they're great. I really do, because I love when New York Knicks basketball is good. I hope it does.
Well, I don't.
Back to you real quick. When you're going to get information and drop stuff, is it through agents who are straight suckers that hate agents? or is it? No, I'm just saying.
Damn.
I'm an agent. I'm being a funny guy. Or is it through team? Where do you get your most information from?
I mean, it's anyone, any and everyone. Could be anyone.
Wow. Could be UD.
The man ain't finna tell you who his sources
is. That what it is?
Man. Hell no.
I'm doing my job. I'm working.
Could be someone back there.
I'm working.
Could be someone back there.
They all CIs. They confidential informants. He is not allowed to release their identities.
You never know.
I appreciate that. I respect it, dog. I wasn't even gonna ask.
You know.
I wasn't even gonna ask who your CIs was.
I'm gonna get you to say something. All right, being a Bulls super fan, who's the GOAT? Who's the GOAT?
Being a what fan?
You're a Bulls super fan. That's the word on the street. You grew up as a Bulls fan.
Super fan. Who is the GOAT?
I grew up in Chicago.
Yes. You wrote for the Bulls. You did the Bulls. You were a Bulls fan. Who's the GOAT?
You really put me on the spot now, Mike.
I know. That's why. That's
really
my
put
job.
Me on the spot. So, for me, obviously, who's your GOAT, Mike?
LeBron.
Who's your GOAT, UD?
Shams, you're not going to answer his question with a question.
I'm
That's what you're not going to do. You're not going to answer his question with a question. That's what you're not going to do. We got to get your answer first. Now, when we come on Run It Back, I'll answer your shit. Make sure y'all tune in and Run It Back, this podcast. But while you are, go ahead, shout it out.
Run It Back,
I'll tell you who's
Chandler Parsons,
I'll tell you who it is.
Lou Williams,
I know
Michelle
his.
Beadle.
I know his.
Okay, now you answer and I
know
go.
his. I know his.
So, it's for me growing up, like when MJ won his 6th championship, I was 4 years old. So it's hard for me to, people are like, watch the YouTube videos and watch the games over. Like, you have to, it's an experience.
Yes.
I feel like the greatest of all time is an experience, right? And for me growing up, Kobe was someone that I watched very closely. And like, the Mamba mentality, the killer instinct. Like, I feel like some of those attributes, I felt like as a young, minority, parents from Pakistani background, like I felt I could apply some of that in my daily life. Like, the killer mentality and like just go get it, ness every single day. So for me, that was something that I gravitated toward. But obviously, as you follow the LeBron Jameses of the world, and living in Chicago, like Derrick Rose's come up when he was
man.
God, he's a bad man, boy.
Like when his MVP year, I was a sophomore. I think I was in high school. I think it might have been my senior year of high school, actually.
God damn, we're old, UD.
It was an experience. Like I feel like your favorite players are an experience, and LeBron. I was covering LeBron. Like I was going to those games. Yes. So yeah, that's kind of like.
But
I think about my youth.
Just so you know, I had to ask the question. I hate the question.
Yeah.
I hate that.
And if you realize, I didn't give a full answer.
I hate the question because my biggest thing is
I didn't give an answer. You see that, you did.
Like Michael Jordan, LeBron James are right there. I don't give a damn who you say. I'm cool with it.
I tell people this all the time, man. My GOAT is MJ. The GOAT is LeBron. My GOAT is MJ. I grew up. The mentality. Watching come fly with me 15 times a day.
You answered his answer.
Watching come fly with me 15 times a day.
It's an experience.
So I
when you look on paper,
and that molded my mentality.
You look at LeBron and all of his numbers and everything he's done.
That's why MJ is my GOAT. LeBron is the GOAT. You know what I'm saying? Two things can be true.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
No, I'm being honest. I hate the question.
And
I just like to ask it because
you know what I'm saying?
I was gonna get Shams to say something.
None of those guys molded my mentality. MJ helped mold my mentality.
If you notice, Mike, I didn't give a.
No, you didn't. You gave me a half-ass. You did a very good reporting answer.
Sure did.
Hey, you know how they word one of those things where they tweet it? Sources, rumors. He hit me with
I know one
rumors.
One thing about it, two damn things for sure. It ain't MJ because he said he was 4 years old, so he wasn't watching. So he ruled MJ out.
Hey,
first of all, it's between Bron and Kobe.
We knew that was gonna be up because he said Derrick Rose. He's a sophomore in high school. I mean, what are we talking about?
He ruled MJ.
But it's an experience.
No, I agree.
Really
I agree.
And
I've said this a ton. Like the reality situation when you ask me about top 5 players of all time. as good as some of those guys were, I didn't see him with my own 2 eyes. I can't say he's a top 5 player. Like I can't do it. Like Shaq's my best big man of all time, period. Don't ask me a question, most dominant force I've ever seen. And they'll say Kareem, and God bless them, they're unbelievable talents. I didn't watch them. So why do you want me to say that? I can't go watch VHS
But you
in
look
black
at
and
the
white.
numbers, like you just looking from a purely numbers perspective for LBJ.
Yeah.
Just numbers.
No.
LeBron James is going to be top 5 in every major
Listen.
statistical category possible when it's all over.
Yeah.
I mean, he has the accolades and the pedigree to say this is the guy.
He is the GOAT. MJ is my GOAT.
Since we're talking LeBron, we got fan questions here at the OGs. Fans love to ask you questions. I don't know if you know this.
Dumbass questions sometimes.
They be some dumbass questions, but don't worry. You'll take the glasses off and he'll cuss them out. Don't worry. You're good. Why do you think the media is putting so much pressure on Bronny James?
Because, I mean, you're in a position where obviously, like the elephant in the room is his dad is LeBron James,
player of all time.
and that is a part of like that is the legacy that he is walking into, what they did was historic. First ever father-son duo to play in the NBA.
No, it's the greatest story of all time.
Hell yes.
It's never been done.
Let me tell you something. I would give anything to do that with my life.
It's never been done.
No.
It's historic. And so anytime you're a part of history, or you're part of the limelight, you're part of the eyes, there's going to be this, and especially when your dad is LeBron James, there's going to be this level of pressure, of expectation. And I think LeBron actually spoke to it publicly, like the fact that, like Bronny's just wired different. He doesn't pay attention to anything. He's locked in.
He's had to be.
He's locked in. You guys know LeBron better than I. Being around and being a teammate.
Let me tell you something. Bronny James, little Bronny is awesome kid.
Let me tell you something. I understand there's probably no other kid that could possibly be in this situation, but there is no other kid that could possibly be more prepared for this particular situation, or who can handle this particular situation. As a father, as a businessman, I've never seen LeBron James and his team and his family and his people throw at the wall just to see if it sticks. They are calculated. They don't do that. They are calculated. They are sharp. They are smart. There is nobody more prepared than Bronny James. I'm wishing him the best. Stop hating out there.
That's my guy.
There's some hate going on out there. Stop hating, man. We talk about nepotism and all that. Stop hating. We've been watching this go on for years, especially me and you, Sean. Maybe not you. They've been getting away with that.
I could have told you he's about to
We've been having to deal with this for years. How many times have our people got passed over? And they was goddamn qualified. And somebody brought in their nephew.
That's why he told me that's why they drafted me 5th. That's what he told me.
Oh, man.
No, I ain't saying like that. Nah, goddamn. I never knocked your talent. You've always been a unicorn.
Yeah, I agree.
I've heard about people like you until I saw you. I ain't think white boys can play. And I saw Mike Miller, and I went back to Miami, and I told everybody that I seen. I said, I seen this white boy.
It's insane what they're doing, though. This has never been done before.
First of all, to do it, though, like the reality of the situation, it took a person of only him, unhuman, to do this for 21, 22 years.
To last as long as your son.
That's why it's
also,
like
he spoke it into existence. He said this publicly.
5 years ago.
And it happened.
No, it's wild. It's wild.
And then they come out and say that he's the best. He's in the best shape, and he's the best player at USA right now in training camp.
I know. The guy's not human.
I was at USA training camp. It's inhumane how he moves.
No, I'm telling you, he's not. He's a test tube baby. Next question. Why does Bam get no? This is a good question actually, because we talk about.
I want to hear this
Why
answer.
does Bam does not get the respect when it comes to Defensive Player of the Year conversations every year?
Well, I've given him his flowers.
Oh?
I have given him.
Do you have a vote?
Someone, we got to have the receipts.
Do you have a vote?
I have had a vote the last couple of years.
We do the receipts.
Good,
I've had him on all defensive teams.
Shots at you, Sean.
I've had him on all defensive teams. I've definitely voted him on, as the top 3 in Defensive Player of the Year. But I will say I have given him his flowers multiple times.
Did you vote for Rudy Gobert this year?
For
I'm
Defensive
putting you on
Player
the
of the
spot.
I did.
Okay.
You did. I feel like you're well equipped. You're well equipped to answer the question of the Bam situation.
What you talk about, John?
Because
you're talking about Will?
I've given Bam his flowers.
Yeah.
Because there were points of last season, even the year prior, where you guys have had a ton of injury, and you guys wouldn't even the Heat wouldn't even be in playoff contention if it wasn't for Bam's dominance on both ends of the floor, especially on defense. Which is why he's been an all-star. That he's been the representative in the all-star game the last few seasons because he's been the guy that's led this team and has carried this team. And then he also got rewarded. 3 years, 166 extension.
He deserves.
Shout out to Bam on the max extension. So
deserved.
He's the cornerstone.
I just think it's just not to certain people. I just feel like the Miami Heat's not sexy enough. You know, we're a lunch pail hard hat team. Chop wood, carry water. You know what I'm saying? We just not sexy enough. But at the end of the day, you look at the last 4 or 5 years, it's either been us or Boston. You know what I'm saying? That's been right there. Milwaukee got in there, they got one, but it's been us or Boston. But you know, for me, I think what people don't understand about Bam Adebayo is that not just our defense is spearheaded by him, but our offense as well. You know, we always know how well we're playing by how many shots Duncan Robinson get up, you know, how many shots Caleb Martin get up, how many shots that our other guys get up. And that's all built off the movement of Bam Adebayo. I mean, he's our trigger. Sometimes he plays the point forward for us. So there's so many things that Bam got to process offensively. It's not just throw the ball to Bam and let him go. Secondly, defensively, who the you know that play the 5 that you can start off on Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum in the game? We started Bam on Jaylen Brown one game and Jason Tatum on another game in the playoffs. Name another 5-man can do that.
I mean, you ain't gonna get one from here, Coach.
See, now what OG don't do is OG don't come with that bullshit. OG got facts. You know what I'm saying? So when y'all sitting at home and y'all voting for the Rudy Gobert,
take your glasses off and look at this brother.
And I like Rudy, but every time he play against the Joker, call the police out.
Ooh, hold on there.
Every time he play against the Joker, Rudy got to call the police out.
Joker gonna get the blues.
Yes. What'd he say? I don't need no help. What Joker told him? I got 46, my friend.
Yeah,
you a goddamn lie. And my mind, and I don't give a damn. I'm never gonna change this. The defensive player of the year should never need help. Should never need help.
Ever.
You should. If you're the defensive player of the year, you got to guard your yard at anybody in your position. You should never need fucking help. So
I agree.
That's just my stance on that.
I never needed help. I sat down and guarded. What we talking about?
You
the
need
white
the source.
glove. That's right.
Never the defensive
you need
player
the source
of
on
the year,
this.
always had the right mindset of being a great team defender. That's what he had. That's what he was going to do.
Hey, where's my help at, Shobs?
He was going to shrink and he was going to be the low man and take a charge. That's for sure.
Last question. All right. Best young team in your opinion? I think I know the answer, but go ahead.
I know what I would say.
I mean, there are a few.
Okay.
I think we can still look at Memphis as a young team.
Okay.
Yeah.
Orlando.
Okay.
Oklahoma City.
Yes.
Who am I missing off the top of my head, Mike?
I mean, OKC, Orlando, Memphis are about the 3 best young teams. I mean, are you considering?
I still consider Memphis young because I feel
do.
like the last 2 years.
I do too.
I agree.
And I think with a fully healthy. By the way, I wouldn't be a report if I didn't ask. Ja's summer. What's the summer look like? How's he doing? How's he feeling? How ready is he? I saw he was cleared for 5-on-5.
This guy's a freaking good. He's really good at his job.
I saw he was cleared for 5-on-5.
I'm telling you guys right now, Ja Morant is coming for all the work this year. All of it.
You heard it here first.
How soon they forget.
Man.
That's all we need.
Like
how soon they forget. Oh, buddy.
No better source on the Ja Morant mindset.
How soon they forget. That's all I'll say. He's about to come for it. But I'm
excited to see a fully healthy Memphis team.
I am too.
Yes.
Actually,
Orlando,
the city wants it. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun.
And they have Marcus Smart, who last year, because of the ups and downs of the season, and then he had injuries.
Dez was out a lot of games. Jaren Jackson missed a lot of games.
Finally gonna get to see what this product looks like.
Yeah.
So
and now you put Zach Edey next to him, like they move guys in natural positions. The reality of the situation, even when Ja was out, like guys were playing in not their positions, and then when Ja came back, everyone slid to their natural position because they were good again, right? So it's interesting.
Now, I'm gonna circle back on this one because you avoided this question. You kind of ducked it now. Do the Lakers get in the playoffs? We got Dallas. We got Memphis.
He said
we got Minnesota.
See, I'm telling you, he's gonna be starting this business too. You see how he came back?
Do the Lakers get in? Because you tried to. You ain't answer that.
Well, I don't know, but I think if LeBron James and Anthony Davis stay healthy, you have a chance.
They were healthy last year.
That's what I'm saying.
You have a chance. They got to the playoffs last year.
Well, they're playing.
They've been a playing team.
Hold on. In this world, are we counting playing as playoffs?
Well, for some teams, it matters as much, but
for the Lakers, it can.
Yeah, but goddamn it,
no.
listen.
Playoffs is the playoffs. You have to make the playoffs.
We keep talking about putting them in, but who the f we taking out?
I agree, Coach.
Because now one of y'all have
I agree, Coach.
Denver,
Coach,
Minnesota,
Dallas,
Memphis,
OKC,
Sacramento. But we're not. We don't
know. Pelicans are going to be better.
Pelicans, yeah.
Who else? Man, the list can go on. Are we missing anybody?
Phoenix. What about Phoenix?
Phoenix.
What do we think about Phoenix?
By the way, hold on real quick before
How
we
about
do it.
Houston?
Yes, no.
No.
I don't know about Houston.
No.
I don't know about
How about
Houston.
San Antonio? How about
first-
San Antonio?
no.
Is a playoffs too soon?
No. Yes,
Too soon for them.
Too soon.
Okay.
I like Houston. A lot of Houston's young talent. The thing with Houston now is going to be is how, when it comes down to it, is who you pay, who you don't pay, who moves out, who doesn't. Reed Shepard, Amen, Jabari, Sengun, Jalen Green. It's going to be
They have a lot of decisions to make.
Oh,
a lot of decisions
Cam
to make.
Whitmore playing great out here.
A lot
like,
of decisions to make.
That's where it really comes down to, and that's where you make the money. But it's going to be interesting.
You know, we played against Jabari Pops at LSU.
I know we did.
That's crazy.
Every time I see him, it's crazy. I saw him at the draft because he's the same draft as Paulo, so we were there.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
By the way, can we get the Paulo draft night story? That was the most quiet
guy's good.
#1 pick.
This guy's good. You like that, didn't you?
Get his ass.
That was good.
You
That
know,
was a
hey,
good one.
Did
That was good.
you get the scoop before it happened?
That night, I think I did, but it was barely. It was close. It was cutting it close. Orlando played it very close to the best.
They did. No one
The
knew.
only person I knew was Mike.
Have you ever found out anything about a player and broke it before the player even knew? Like somebody was getting traded or something and they didn't even know yet? Like I hear about that all the time. Like players find out they got traded online and shit like that. Have you ever heard somebody's story like, damn man, I didn't know I got traded till your ass broke it.
Sometimes they're selling that, but sometimes, good amount of times.
That's crazy. That's
Shams, you're an absolute legend, man.
Appreciate you
guys
Thank you.
stopping in here.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Mike.
you stopping in here.
brother.
Appreciate you guys having me.
Thank you.
Oh, geez, man. Check us out. We're out of here, though. All right. Thanks.